you guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. It's been a while, hasn't it? But I'm glad to be back. There's so much that I have gone through in the past year. There's so much that's happened. And one of the most beautiful and healing experiences for me has been, well, my reintroduction to my African ancestors. So if you're interested in hearing this video, I guess, here it is. In 2021, obviously, I got attacked sexually. I got R-worded. Now, it hadn't been the first time something like this had happened to me. I mean, I'd experienced, sexual misconduct in different ways growing up. So it was something I was familiar with. But in many ways, that incident brought about an explosion of pain that I'd never experienced. And within those flames, everything that I thought I was just disintegrated and came to nothing. I literally saw everything that was important to me fall away and fall apart, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. It was during this time that I was really trying to find, you know when you get really fucked up and you start praying to God, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, like Oprah, Yanla, Dr. Phil, girl, like there wasn't a person I wasn't trying to contact. I did oracle readings, tarot readings. Girl, I did my ass did a seance. There were so many different things, and it was during that period where I felt I was doing a seance with these girls, and one of my African ancestors kind of like was energy was there, girl. Best way I can explain it. It was at that time that I knew that I needed to sort of make peace or make some sort of restitution or contact my ancestors that walk with me in love and light. It was after that incident that I felt like I needed to do something. So what does my ass do? My ass gets on a plane and goes to King Williamstown in the Eastern Cape. Cool. Now, anyone from South Africa knows that, girl, there is a whole lot of witchcraft, voodoo, hoodoo, all of that in the Eastern Cape. It's almost like we have cum laude in witchcraft, if I had to be honest. And that's not a diss or anything, it really isn't. But it's just a super spiritual place and a sacred place. Remember, the word witch is deriven from Latin. It means wisdom. So, miss me with that. Anyways, I get up there and I tell my mom and contact some of my relatives. Now, me and my mom do not have a good relationship. It's pretty trash. She is a sangoma. Now, a sangoma is basically like a witch doctor. Cool, whatever. Growing up, I was I went to these sort of mission schools, and I was a Latter-day Saint. So my spiritual path and journey was in Christianity, and I was taught at school that what my family was doing was evil. And given the fact that my mom was a raging narcissist, I associated everything with African identity as bad and evil because of a number of different experiences that I'd had. But now I sort of had to get to a point where I reconnected with my ancestors, reconnected with my roots. And I hoped that if I did this, some sort of peace would come about in my life. You know, we do not just contact the ancestors for any old reason. Trust me, there is no black person alive who just wants to talk to dead people. Girl, we've watched The Sixth Sense. No one is trying to be Haley Joel Osment. It's not a cute look. It really isn't, especially not in 2023. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the ceremony. I'll take part in it. So my mom is a witch doctor, so she understands all the voodoo hoodoo stuff that goes in there. I'm not trying to be offensive with the language that I'm using. This is just how I speak. If you don't like it, please click off. So cool. My mom's familiar with all this stuff, and we set aside a date when we were going to do this. So it had to be conducted by a male member of the family, a senior male member of the family. Now, in Xhosa culture, you are only a man if you have been circumcised after the age of 18. That is what is considered a male. So for anyone who's trying to read me and say that I should have been sorry, my mind's overactive. But anyways, I digress. My uncle ends up being the one who does ceremony. And my cousin is there my cousin's 40 something years old. And there were two of my aunts and my mom. So we get all the incense. We get all the incense. It had to be natural incense, from the Transkei African bush. We get something called sniff. Sniff is basically powder nicotine. You can chew on it. You know what I mean? African people, what we do is you take some of it, you put it under your, you put it under your lip, girl, and then you communicate with the ancestors like this. That's what you do. And we use it for ceremonies, of course. So we had a lot of that, and we had different herbs and things that we use for our rituals. Cool. Now, I love my uncle, but he drinks. I mean, hey, I like a good drink too, girl. I'd be drinking right now if I could. But he drinks. And he kind of got wasted before the ceremony. Now, we're going to have the ceremony in the hut where my grandparents reared their kids. Now, I'm in another hut, in a hut that my mom built in the homeland. Cool, whatever. Girl. My uncle comes to where I'm at in the little hut thing, and he's banging on the door, calling out for me, but he's using my dead name. He's all like, Paz, screaming at the top of his lungs, talking some mess about he's looking for me. And in the back of my head, I'm like, you and the ancestors, girl, are looking for whoever that Buzz is, because that person no longer exists. And that's why we're having the ceremony. So I got annoyed by that. We end up going into the main, rondeveld. A rondeveld is a hut. We go into the main rondeveld, and that's when we say our prayers and chants to our ancestors. Now, it's important that when you speak to your ancestors, you call the ones that walk with you in love and light, that have your highest and best intentions. We light up the incense, and girl, that thing lit up. It was like my aunts were like, girl, stuff's happening. So we're supposed to be sleeping. I couldn't sleep a wink. I was so nervous. My uncle comes and he wakes me up at 5 a.m, and then we had to go into the crawl. Now, the purpose of this ceremony is to reintroduce myself to the ancestors. When a Xhosa child is born, they have a ceremony called imbeleko. Now, imbeleko kind of sounds like umbilical cord. It doesn't. It's a ceremony. They cut your umbilical cord and you're introduced to your ancestors. Your gender and name are given. Now, when I transitioned from male to female 10 years ago, girl, I was not interested in none of this stuff, not even a little bit. But yeah, so because I had changed my name and I'd gone on and had surgeries, the elders in the family believed that I needed to perform this ritual. So my uncle comes in, he's drunk, he's staggering, he doesn't even know my name. Girl, tell me why. He screams to the ancestors. He's like, Dada, this is your child, Casabella. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my name is Christabel. And at that moment, I remember feeling this immense pressure just around my chest of love. And I understood almost like, I don't want to say understood telepathically, but that's the only way I can explain it. I understood that my uncle in the crawl, as drunk as a skunk as what he was a beloved child of the ancestors. He was remembered by the earth, and he was a child of this family. And there was no space for judgment or condemnation. And that same message for him was a message to me. I felt this love from all of the ancestral beings that have walked with me. And I knew in that moment that they saw me, that they see me, and that they walk with me as a beautiful Xhosa transgender woman. If you sat through this video without getting offended, girl, okay. Anyways, I love you guys, and anyone who is within the sound of my voice, understand that you are loved, that you come from a people that have gone through battles, gone through flames, and come out alive and produce the gem that is you. You are beautiful, amazing, and in a wonderful way that the universe is expressing itself in human form. So, bitch, you better go out and be cute. Bye.